What if one man, with no army, no miracles, and no claim of divinity, quietly shaped the behavior of billions for over 2,000 years? What if the secret to controlling chaos isn't power, but discipline, respect, and invisible order? This is the story of Confucianism, the philosophy that rules societies without ever needing to rule. A philosophy that became a civilization. Confucianism is not just a religion, and not just a philosophy. It is a system that quietly shaped entire civilizations from the inside out. Founded by Confucius over 2,500 years ago in ancient China, it emerged during one of the most unstable periods in Chinese history, the Spring and Autumn era. Kingdoms were locked in constant conflict, political leaders were driven by power rather than virtue, and society was losing its moral foundation. In a world filled with noise, ambition, and destruction, Confucius did something unexpected. He chose not to fight the chaos, but to understand it. He did not claim divine revelation. He did not perform miracles. He did not promise salvation in the afterlife. Instead, he offered something far more subtle and perhaps more powerful: a blueprint for living. Confucius believed that disorder in society was not caused by fate or gods or destiny, but by human behavior. People had forgotten how to act, how to respect, how to live with integrity. And so, instead of trying to change the world directly, he focused on changing the individual. His teachings revolved around discipline, moral character, and the idea that if each person becomes better, society naturally becomes stable. But here is where the mystery deepens. How did a man with no army, no political authority, and no divine status create a system that would influence emperors, governments, education systems, and families for thousands of years? How did his words outlive kingdoms and dynasties? Confucianism is built on a powerful but almost invisible principle that harmony in the world begins with harmony within the self. It suggests that chaos is not something that happens to us. It is something we create through ignorance, ego, and imbalance. When individuals lose their sense of virtue, society begins to collapse from within. And yet, beneath this practical wisdom lies something deeper. There is an almost unseen force in Confucian thought, a quiet order that governs behavior, relationships, and even destiny. It is never fully explained, never clearly defined, yet it seems to guide everything. Is Confucianism simply a moral system? Or is it tapping into a deeper truth about how the universe itself is structured? The core beliefs. At the heart of Confucianism are values that seem simple, yet carry profound depth. One of the central concepts is Ren, often translated as humaneness or benevolence. It is the idea that a truly good person naturally cares for others. But Confucius never fully defined Ren in strict terms. Instead, he described it through actions, relationships, and intentions. This creates a mystery. If the most important virtue cannot be precisely defined, is it something that must be felt rather than understood? Another key concept is Li, which refers to rituals, traditions, and proper behavior. These are not just religious ceremonies, they include everyday actions like respect for elders, politeness, and social roles. Confucianism teaches that by performing these rituals correctly, individuals align themselves with a deeper cosmic order. But what is this order? Unlike religions that clearly define God, Confucianism speaks of Tian, often translated as heaven. Tian is not a personal god with a face or form. It is more like a moral force, an unseen principle that governs the universe. This leads to one of Confucianism's greatest mysteries. Is Tian a divine intelligence, or simply a natural law of harmony? The 5 relationships. Confucianism is not focused on isolated individuals, it is built on relationships. According to its teachings, human beings do not exist alone. We are defined by our connections to others, and society functions only when these connections are balanced and understood. This idea is expressed through the 5 key relationships, which form the foundation of Confucian social structure: ruler and subject, father and son, husband and wife, older brother and younger brother, and friend and friend. Each relationship carries mutual responsibilities. A ruler must lead with justice and wisdom, while the subject must show loyalty. A father must provide care and guidance, while the son must show respect and obedience. Even friendship, the most equal of relationships, requires trust and sincerity. At first glance, this system may appear rigid, even hierarchical. It assigns roles and expectations, creating a structured society where everyone knows their place. But Confucianism does not promote blind obedience, it emphasizes balance. Power comes with responsibility. Authority must be earned through virtue. A ruler who is unjust loses the mandate of heaven, meaning they no longer have the right to rule. This introduces a subtle but powerful idea. True authority is not given, it is deserved. Yet the mystery remains. Is Confucianism reinforcing hierarchy and limiting freedom? Or is it offering a system that prevents chaos by creating stability? Some critics argue that it suppresses individuality and enforces conformity. Others believe it creates harmony in a world that would otherwise fall into disorder. Perhaps Confucianism is not about restricting people, but about guiding them into a structure where everyone can coexist peacefully. Filial piety. One of the most powerful ideas in Confucianism is shao, or filial piety, the deep respect and devotion to one's parents and ancestors. In Confucian thought, family is not just a social unit, it is sacred. Respect for parents is seen as the foundation of all moral behavior. If you cannot honor your family, you cannot honor society. But Confucianism goes even further. It teaches that ancestors continue to exist in some form and should be honored through rituals and remembrance. Offerings, ceremonies, and respect are ways of maintaining a connection between the living and the dead. This introduces a spiritual dimension often overlooked. Do ancestors truly influence the living? Or are these rituals a psychological bridge between past and present? The mystery remains unresolved, but the practice continues to shape cultures even today. Education and self-cultivation. Confucianism places extraordinary importance on education, but not education in the modern sense of degrees or careers. Instead, it focuses on self-cultivation, the process of becoming a morally refined human being. Confucius believed that anyone, regardless of birth or status, could become a junzi, often translated as a noble person. This was revolutionary at a time when social class was rigid. But becoming a junzi is not about power or wealth, it is about discipline, humility, and constant self-improvement. Here's the deeper question. Is greatness something you achieve, or something you continuously become? Confucianism suggests that perfection is never reached. The journey itself is the purpose. The mystery of silence. One of the most fascinating aspects of Confucianism is what it avoids. Confucius rarely spoke about the afterlife, supernatural beings, or detailed metaphysical theories. When asked about death, he famously responded that one must first understand life. This silence is not accidental, it is intentional. Confucianism focuses on the here and now, the visible world, and human relationships. It does not deny the existence of the spiritual, it simply refuses to speculate beyond what can be lived and experienced. But this creates a paradox. Is Confucianism incomplete? Or is it deliberately avoiding illusions? Perhaps its greatest strength lies in its restraint. Confucianism in the modern world. Despite being over 2 millennia old, Confucianism still quietly shapes the lives of millions, especially across East Asia, where its influence can be seen in everyday values like respect for elders, dedication to education, discipline, and a strong sense of social responsibility in countries such as China, South Korea, and Japan. Its principles continue to guide culture, business practices, and even systems of governance, proving that its relevance has not faded with time but evolved alongside it. In a world driven by speed, competition, and the constant pursuit of individual success, Confucianism offers a contrasting voice, one that encourages slowing down, treating others with respect, refining one's character, and living with intention rather than impulse. And perhaps this is where its deepest mystery lies. In a modern age obsessed with innovation and progress, Could it be that the answers we are searching for are not ahead of us, but rooted in ancient wisdom that has been quietly guiding humanity all along? A system without a final answer. Confucianism does not offer clear answers about the universe, heaven, or the afterlife. Instead, it offers something far more subtle, a way of living. It teaches that order begins within the individual, that relationships define existence, and that morality is the foundation of a meaningful life. Yet it leaves space for interpretation, reflection, and mystery. Perhaps that is why it has survived for so long. Because it does not demand belief, it invites understanding. And in that quiet invitation lies its greatest power. If this made you see ancient wisdom in a completely new way, then you've only scratched the surface. There are deeper truths, hidden philosophies, and powerful ideas still waiting to be uncovered. If you want to be smarter every day, like and subscribe.